You don't need your gloves off. You're recording.
Easier.
Don't put your fingers in front of my lenses. Okay, get over there. Do not shoot into the sun.
I mean, I can see the bees.
Okay.
Do I need to zoom in?
Now, if the queen's in the basket,
Yep.
the other bees are going to go to the basket and they will leave that fence post.
There's still a little bit more.
Do you think they're going to the basket or they're going to the tree branch?
I think they're going to the basket.
That's right.
That's basket.
Okay, Quinn, bring me your camera.
I didn't know if you wanted me to zoom in.
We're still recording.
Sorry.
No zooming, that's okay.
Okay. Yep.
What do you guys got to say?
So this is the way to be.
This is the way to be. What
This
else?
is the way to be.
It is. So, Orion and Quinn, how high do you think this is?
I would go for a solid 7. Like 7 feet. 17.
7 and 17. Okay, this pole is 30 feet. I think we're at 22 feet. Why are we wearing bee suits?
So if anything goes wrong, and in general, we would want to wear bee suits so we don't get stung.
Right. And we have a 3-year-old out here today who's in her bee suit. And then there's Mammy. And she's doing a video. And here comes our youngest beekeeper ever. And the bees here, by the way, came out of that hive right there, the ivory bee hive. It was covered in bees. Now the bees are singing all around us. They're not happy.
So I should put my gloves back on?
I think you're okay without gloves. We're just wearing nitrile gloves today. But you don't want them, see, they'll go for your face. There's high contrast in your eyes. And we're not letting these things go because this swarm is so big. And here comes the world's tiniest beekeeper, Ellie, in her bee suit. Come on over, stand by Orion, Ellie. Oh, she has no glove on her left hand. Oh, we have a whole stack of them inside the Bee Academy. Hey, go and help Mammy find Ellie's other mitten. Well, they'll calm down. They'll calm down. Now what we really want to watch is the branch that they came off of. Those bees up there should look disoriented. I think they are too, and we want them off that tree branch. So having a really long pole, by the way, that can rest on the ground is going to keep us from having fatigued shoulders.
I'm trying to notice it's getting smaller and smaller. Oh, that was actually better than I thought. That was pretty clean. Yeah, very clean.
And now if the queen is inside there, they'll collect on that screen. If she's not, let's see what happens. We're going to lean this one right here.
I can see the mesh right now.
Now what we want to see is if they'll
I
throw
think
their
they're
napkin off.
entering out. Yeah, they're getting out. I can see that.
No, they can get out.
I know.
If the queen's not in there, they will all get out.
I'm trusting you. My swarms are calm, so I just think it's stung in the head.
Just don't kneel on a bee. See those bees? And we don't touch them, Ellie.
Grandpa,
And see their little butts sticking up? They're telling us that the queen, they think she's in there. Look at those bees.
I think she might be able to be a beekeeper.
Look at, see, now it's enough glands right here and here.
Yep.
Ellie, we have bees. Isn't that
Do
fun?
you think she might be our next beekeeper here?
I think it's impossible to tell, but the fact that she's curious.
Oh crap, I have a bee in my pocket, Ryan. Can you get that out? I could have got stung by that. Thanks.
Okay, if you get stung, it's not the end of the world either.
If you get stung,
All the bees.
if you get stung, you'll be perfectly fine because you have.
Yeah, one looked like one of the others. Once?
Oh, yeah, if they sting,
I think one's
if
I think one's stinging. Never mind.
If
they
it stings you, it's dead.
Yeah, if they
Now what
sting
you don't want
it's
is you
the
don't
only
want,
thing.
if you see a stinger in your glove, you need to walk away for a minute because it means it left an alarm pheromone on you.
Oh, okay.
So we definitely don't want the alarm pheromone because we want them to be calm. And what we should see now is bees coming from up on the, if you see bees up on the branch, they should be finding their way down here. Yeah, they're just landing. They're just tired. And I can give them a drink of water.
But this is nice. It's nice having a feeling that you won't get stung.
Yeah.
Hey, the tip is gone from my sprayer. The red tip is completely off.
Lame.
Lord only knows where that went. That fell off from the time I was in the garage to here somewhere. That's not good. I can't give my bees a drink, Ellie. Oh,
I'm trusting the bees. The bees are trusting me. Like,
hello. Hello, bees.
I would just be a little bit more scared having no protection on, but I'm starting
Well,
to
some people do this without protection, but we would definitely have been stung in the face already.
Oh, we would have.
Yeah, because they're bouncing off our veils.
Oh yeah, I just.
If they're pinging off your face, then they.
Also, by the way, down there, down by that hive, green
Is
hive.
Mammy making a video?
Yeah.
Mammy is making videos? Since when did she become our cinematographer?
But when I was
Good
down,
move.
when I was down by that green beehive, I had like a bee behind my veil, like just running
Keep
into
your
it.
gloves on, Ellie. Just keep them on your hands.
Like the bee, it was just rubbing against my veil trying to get in.
Yeah.
But swarms really aren't that scary.
So what I want to see is.
They look scary. Look, there's a bunch of bees here.
There are. There's a bunch of bees here too.
Yeah.
There's bees everywhere.
Why
Everywhere.
are swarms so
Well, they have to conserve their energy. They're on their way to start a new colony, and if they wasted their energy, it would not be easy for them to get started again. Their stomachs are full of honey.
Grandpa, do some people just put smoke on their body?
They kind of look like flies. If you were like not really on you, they kind of look like big.
Oh my god, bro, you have like four bees on your head that I can see.
Yep. One on your back, one on your arm.
Oh god, don't go up to my hand. How shown are my hands?
And that's about all the kids had in them. When it comes to grandchildren, they're only with you for so long, so I was glad to have them to help me get the bees out of the tree. So we're going to do a follow-up here. The boys did show up and watch the bees start to go in, and notice that I've taken the queen excluder off. And underneath the queen excluder, of course, was the queen, and I caught her in a clip. And she is now up in the top of this hive in the feeder shim. So we're using her pheromone to draw these bees into the hive, and it worked perfect outside. This expanded metal trash can is fantastic if you're going to collect a swarm out of a high spot in a tree, because the air passes through it, and all the other bees that belong with the swarm can find them easily. The air passes through. The queen excluder you can leave on top if they seem sketchy and they're about to cut out. you can keep the queen excluder on and they'll come right back when they realize the queen didn't go with them. So here we are the following morning. They all went into the hive. So that's good news. Once they went into the hive, I put a queen excluder on the front of the hive to make sure that the queen that's inside can't get out. So I took the queen clip that's in here and I put a 3/8" shim in it so that the queen could get out. This is easier for me than picking up the clip and opening it and hoping that the queen goes in through the solid feeder tray here. And that way I could close it up and she wouldn't fly off on me, which has happened before. So I put the shim in there so she can get out. I close it up just as if we were feeding solid material like fondant or a pollen patty or something like that. And then the following day, we've jumped ahead. And I'm opening it up because the queen clearly went down inside. Look at all the bees that have also gone down below. And we're just going to do a quick check here to make sure the queen is not in the clip. She isn't. And how they got that wooden shim out of the queen clip, that's anybody's guess. It's glued down with beeswax right now. And you can also see that there's a little beeswax pattern on this queen clip because of where the holes come through on the center of this. So if you're wondering about this feeder, it's made by Lyson. Look at the beeswax. And that's just a couple of days. So the queen's in and things are doing well. We also had to remove the queen excluder from the entrance just in case, in the off chance that the queen was a virgin and needed to do mating flights. A couple of things are going on. This is the 16th today. And you'll also notice this entrance, 3/8 inch high, only about 1.5 inches wide. They are bringing in pollen, so I'm convinced they've settled and that the queen is mated. No big surprise, it was a huge swarm. I would have been surprised if that had not been a mated queen. Another reason to put the queen excluder on the front while they're going in, after I put the queen in the clip inside the feeder section, to use her pheromones. If there were other queens in the swarm, they would have been stopped at the queen excluder, which we call a queen includer when we're trying to keep the queen in the hive. So we're all settled. No other queens showed up. That was good news. And they're fanning away here. So there's some other things to see on this hive. That tiny entrance is not big enough for this colony. So we put a deep 10 frame Langstroth box here. We also went ahead and put a medium super on because we are in a nectar flow and this is going to grow quickly. A lot of the frames already had drawn comb. They're well ahead of the game. But one of the interesting things here that you'll notice that bees do when their entrance is too small is they start to chew it. So you'll notice in these sequences that there's a worker skimming along the top edge there, chewing away with her mandibles as well as she can. And it takes honeybees a very long time. Their mandibles aren't designed to chew wood, but they can wear it down. They chew it bit by bit. It just goes on, and they will eventually shape the wood. But I'm not going to make them do that. So what I did, of course, this is all today, August the 16th of 2025. I went ahead and pulled out this entrance reducer. I had another one on the shelf ready to go. That is the size of an entrance that I have decided is optimum for a full-size colony of bees. And by that I mean an 8 or 10 frame deep brood box that would be full of bees. And I keep it the same year-round. Now if you look at this entrance, look to the right side of the entrance and you'll see that worker chewing away just as hard as she can. And eventually they would wear it smooth. When I pulled that out, they did have beeswax on it. It was getting worn smooth, but to expect them to chew this entrance open all the way is just asking too much of them, in my opinion. But just for observation and so that you can see what bees do when they're indicating that their entrance is too small, this is it, chewing the entrance. They're also fanning a lot, lining up with one another, so that they can keep that air moving, and they are bringing in a lot of nectar right now. And this is early in the morning. You can see by their shadows. It is probably around 10 a.m. at the time of this shooting, and look at the difference. We shifted entrance reducers, 3/8 inch high, 3 inches wide. So now you'll notice that there are no more bees chewing at the entrance. This is the optimum entrance that I've arrived at after many years of observation. And why do I use 3/8 high? Well, that will keep out mice. It also helps them defend the entrance. 3 inches wide is pretty darn good. When we make it a lot wider, for example, we have wasps and hornets all trying to get in the early morning these days. Because wasp nests are getting big, they're at full capacity. This means they can send out a lot of scouts. Those scouts like to get into your beehives. Now, the good news is the number of bees in this hive, as you saw, there's a lot of them. They have plenty of guards on deck, but if I open this hive all the way, 3/4 inch high, all the way across the landing board, they could defend themselves, but it takes a lot of effort to do it, and then I would have to be inserting a entrance reducer when the weather turns cold. So what I do is I leave the entrance all year round the same, 3/8 high, 3 inches wide. And that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to leave you to observe these bees that are doing so well, and they're nice and clean. They came out of the ivory beehive. The problem with the ivory beehive is it's great for bees, not great for beekeepers. We can't expand it. It has 15 frames. All 15 frames are full and involved with brood, pollen, or stored honey. So it's only natural that they would have swarmed. I'm glad that they swarm now rather than swarming next month sometime, because this colony has more than enough time to build up and set up their winter fat-bodied workers, and also to store enough honey and resources. We'll get back with them later on, but I'm sure, just look at the productivity right now, that they are going to bring in enough nectar, they're going to store enough, and they're also going to brood up and have what they need to get through winter. So I appreciate that you took time to watch this. I hope you liked the casual nature of this video with the grandchildren, and of course you got to see the supervisor. And the 3-year-old kind of had enough, but I was impressed. She's never come out to the bee yard before. This is the first time she ever asked for her bee suit. And of course there's been one on the rack ready to go. The supervisor, who's now 9, when he was 2, wore a bee suit out to the bee yard just so he could go and sit and watch bees on the landing board. Maybe we'll get that same thing out of her. Only the future will tell, but she definitely was comfortable around the bees, enjoyed looking at them, wanted to make sure on her own that she had her little beekeeper mittens on. And a good way to keep track of your gloves and mittens is go ahead and stick them in the pockets of your bee suit. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to leave you to watch this landing board for the rest of the video. And let me know if you like this style of unplanned, kind of impromptu. I didn't realize my wife was going to make a video. And so having this interaction and all the kids here at once at the end of the day was a really good thing to do, because when kids want your attention, I think it's really, really important to give it to them, because the most expensive thing that we have is our time. So thanks for watching. I wish you all the best in beekeeping. I'm Frederick Dunn, and this is The Way to Bee.